Glenn Wilcox, a partner at Levy Ratner PC, a union-side labor law firm here in New York City, and a proud board member of the Peggy Browning Fund. We're celebrating 24 years of providing law students with experience in advocating for the rights and needs of workers. I'm pleased to share the following message from the Peggy Browning Fund's president, Joe Laurie.
Peggy was my wife, and this fund was founded as a legacy to her. She was a very big believer in workplace justice, the labor movement, unions. I think she's certainly a person who cared for people. She was a union-side labor lawyer, and she was the first union-side labor lawyer appointed to the National Labor Relations Board. And she was passionate about the labor movement and believed in unionism throughout the country. And she was a progressive person, and she put her words in actions. Unfortunately, about a year after she got appointed on the board, she developed breast cancer. And throughout the whole cancer, she never missed a day. She was the toughest person I ever met, and she was impassioned about the labor movement, and also a great woman, and a fun partner. After she passed away, I decided to honor her by establishing the Peggy Browning Fund and continuing her legacy. I came up with this idea to encourage law students who are progressive and interested perhaps in the labor movement to work for economic and social justice in the United States. I decided that I could do this by setting up a nonprofit, and it worked. It worked extremely well. So this year we had 91 paid fellowships out of about 450 applications. Notwithstanding the COVID pandemic, we were able to place 91 law students, most of whom worked from home. And from the feedback that we're getting now, they've all had great experiences, and we're very proud of that. Our National Law Students Workers' Rights Conference, it's a 2-day conference, which we've had every year in October. Then we have workshops, networking of students, keynote speakers, and things like that to encourage students. And we usually have about 170, 180 law students from all over the country. We're also proud of the fact that we are on stream to do our National Law Students Workers' Rights Conference virtually. And the third way to interest students is our regional workshops. This year we're having 18 regional workshops in law schools, from the University of Washington to Southern University, from Harvard to UCLA Law School, and Stanford. So we're all over the country with the regional workshops where the law student at that university, law school, could come and learn about what it is to practice law for workplace justice. We know that workers' rights everywhere are being attacked. Labor needs lawyers, and law positions are available to young lawyers and older lawyers who come out of law school today and say, okay, I want to do this type of work. And we hope that the fellows that we produce are passionate and add that passion to the work they do in the labor movement, and indeed make the labor movement stronger. It's a legacy for progressives in the United States who care about the labor movement, who care about workplace justice. And without you guys, that couldn't happen.
Each year, we call upon one of our alumni to share their fellowship experience, because we feel that there's no better way to demonstrate the impact of our programs than to hear it directly from a fellowship recipient. Tonight, we've asked 2020 Summer Fellow Sadaf Hassan to share her thoughts on choosing a career representing workers and their families.
This summer, I worked with Take Root Justice in New York City on the workers' rights team, and I had a phenomenal experience, mostly because the organization has a really unique approach to doing movement lawyering work. So in terms of how they do their work, They partner with community-based organizations and grassroots organizations, and basically they try to connect those organizations to the law. And what we were really seeing that was happening on the ground was a lot of domestic workers were being fired or terminated for feeling unsafe of going to work, or they had COVID and the employer fired them. So it was a really interesting time to be at the organization, and particularly in the workers' rights space, because these are kind of unprecedented legal issues that the team had never really encountered before. Like, what kind of claim would a worker have in terms of safety and protection related to COVID-19? So a really big part of my role this summer was trying to see and explore what legal avenues were available to domestic workers during this time for those who were terminated unjustly. In terms of my overall experience, it's definitely solidified my interest in movement lawyering and how to do this work moving forward in my career, and being able to have this really holistic experience of, one, working with the organization that I was assigned to this summer, but also being able to benefit from the other aspects of the fellowships programs in terms of networking, also the kind of brown bags that were organized this summer. It really was a transformational experience for me in terms of what I want to do moving forward. In these times now, it's more important than ever to invest in a new generation of leaders, particularly law students who are thinking about doing movement lawyering work, because there's so much work that's already happening out there in terms of activism, community organizing, and we really need a new lens to think about how lawyers can play a part in the equation for social justice. I just want to take this time to thank the Peggy Browning Fund for this amazing opportunity for me to deepen my commitment to social change, particularly working with workers' rights during this critical time with the current situation in the pandemic.
We ask that if you know anyone, of course, who might be interested in supporting a program like ours and becoming part of our legacy, that you reach out to them. It's just been a great joy for me, and in a sense, almost a gift to work on something like this after practicing law for over 60 years. So, yeah.